A viewer asked me if I could take a look at their car. I said sure, and this is what they sent me. This is a V1 Traxxas Maxx, and this thing is in pretty rough shape. You can tell this thing has been used and abused, but I think we can save it. Right off the bat, I can see there's quite a few problems here. First one is this body. This body's in rough shape. We're gonna take care of that in a little bit. We've got a problem with a shock up here. We've got quite a bit of slop in the steering. I can see there are quite a few screws that have been replaced here on the bottom with larger screws, and we're even missing a couple. But the main problem, and the reason this truck's on the bench, is because of a clicking sound. A clicking sound usually indicates that there's something wrong with the gearing, but we won't know that for sure until we actually try this thing out. Before we do that, we gotta fix this shock. This shock looks like a pretty simple problem. Looks like it's just a missing screw. Got a replacement here. Let's go ahead and throw a battery in this old girl and see what's going on with it. All right, let's see if we can figure out where that clicking sound's coming from. I think I heard a click. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're hearing clicking on deceleration. Let me show you what that means. Okay, so we could clearly hear it clicking on deceleration. That usually means the problem's in the front of the vehicle because all the stress is on the front differential under deceleration, as opposed to acceleration where all the stress is on the back. It could be the center diff though, but let's take a look at this front first and see if we can find a problem. Well, there we go, guys. Very clearly, we've got a cracked front lower bulkhead. That would definitely cause a clicking sound. Now, I'm not sure if that means this differential is also going to be bad. Let's check that out. All right, so the teeth on these gears don't look too torn up, so it looks like we'll be able to get away with just replacing this bulkhead. The other main problem is that this steering is extremely loose and sloppy. Part of that's being caused by these tie rods being completely worn out. We're gonna need to get replacements for those. But the other part of the problem is that the servo case on this 2085X is completely worn out. I think we can fix that problem now. I've got a stock 2090 servo here, and I'm pretty sure that the cases are compatible. If they are, we should be able to take the guts from this 2085X and put it in this 2090. There's only one way to find out though. Let's see if it'll work. Okay, so it does appear as though the top and the bottom of these are identical, so we should be able to just swap this bottom and top across, and then this servo should be saved. With the tops off both these, you can see one of the main differences between the 2085 and 2090 and the 2085X. We've got metal gears here and plastic gears here. Let's see if this fits. Oh yeah, fits on there perfectly. And here you can see the other main difference. This motor is much larger than this one is. That's where the extra power comes from. Well, that's an interesting abomination. Let's finish putting this together. Now that is much more secure. While we're waiting for parts, let's see what we can do to help this poor old body. As you can see with all the reinforcement removed, there is not much structure left to this body, but I think you'll be really surprised at how much structure we can put back in. First step's gonna be just to cut away these bits and pieces that are just basically falling off the body and aren't really needed anyway. That's already starting to look a lot better. Let's get to reinforcing. First thing we wanna do is give this thing a quick clean. I'm just using some 91% IPA and a paper towel. Next step is to apply mesh tape. I really like this fiber tape. This is cement board tape. It's stronger than regular drywall tape, and it has a much stronger adhesive on the back, which really helps it stick on the bodies before the next step. Very straightforward. We just start from the beginning, stick it down, make sure it's stuck down all the way across, run to the back, cut it off, and repeat. We got the first couple layers down. I'm gonna finish this off camera because it's a real pain to do with the camera in the way. There we go, guys. Now keep in mind, you're not looking for perfection with this. As long as you cover most of the big problem areas and get decent coverage across the whole body, this is gonna be a huge improvement. Also keep in mind, you can use small pieces to fill in little gaps. And if you have a spot that's sticking up, you can just snip it with your scissors and then push it down, and that'll be just fine. This is already starting to feel a lot better, but the real magic happens next. All right, the adhesive is cured. Now we just need to... And there we go. As you can see, that has made a massive difference. This body was completely falling apart before, and now it's pretty tough. Is this gonna last forever? No, but we have definitely breathed some new life into this old body, and that's a great thing. And check this out, while we were working on it, our parts arrived. Let's get these installed on the truck. When you're greasing gears, make sure you use just enough to wet the teeth. Any more than that's just gonna get slung off in the first 5 seconds and just contributes to the mess. All right, that takes care of the front bulkhead. Let's get these steering links replaced. Body is fixed, steering is tight, bulkhead is replaced. Of course, no repair is complete without a test drive, so let's go see if this thing can bash. So there we go, guys. Hey, if you're enjoying the channel, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? We've got all kinds of videos coming up, and you're not going to want to miss them. That being said, we've taken this thing from a basket case and turned it back into a capable basher. Is it perfect? No. I still hear a little bit of noise coming from the spur gear, and honestly, the thing could use a complete rebuild with a new chassis, but I think the owner's going to get a lot more use out of it just the way it is. Speaking of which, let me get this cleaned up and back to him, and why don't you check out this video?